All right, appreciate y'all joining us today. Wrapping up quickly the week, the game before our bye week. Players of the game, offensive player of the week was Daniel King, grade out at 83%. Played really physical and smart. Defensive player of the week, split it between two guys. One of them was Richard Jubinor, who was also the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week for that game. And then Jaden McDonald played an extremely high level in the game as well. So that award is split. The Special Teams Player of the Week for the conference went to Scott Taylor Renfro, and he could easily have gotten it for us, but we actually gave it to Quentin Skinner because unsung hero in a wet game is the long snapper, or the short snapper for that matter, on field goal extra point. So Quentin Skinner was the Player of the Week for our in-house awards. ST got the award for the conference. Job takers of the week, defensively, Kenny Reedy, offensively, Tucker Kilcrease, and then special teams, Robert Marsh, who he keeps showing up over and over for doing good things. Nathan Harris, John Johnson Service Award, a very familiar name to this award, is Casey Bradford, a fantastic young man who does everything the right way. And then the Corey McCullough Spirit Award goes to Jordan Lovett. And then the Warrior Worker of the Week, who's a developmental player in our weight room program, is Fabian Rogash. So that's wrapping up the awards from the previous week. Don't really want to address too much of that game in depth because it was a week and a half ago at this point now. So not even really on my radar, kind of been over that for a while. Really tough challenge ahead of us this week, 6 p.m. on the road at Texas State. Really probably the most improved team in our league right now, 5-2. They beat Baylor to open the year. Really good in all three phases. I think you look at them offensively, it starts in the backfield with TJ Finley and Ishmael Mahdi, their running back. Those two guys are big-time players in this league. They've got good receivers, a big O-line, and a quality tight end room. Defensively, they got good depth on the D-line. Ben Bell really sticks out. He was there last year. His brother Levi was a great player. Ben's back, but the rest of their front guys are active, and linebacker, they're sound, and they do a really good job, and their secondary's deep. Kicking game, they're also a really good group. So they're dangerous in all three phases. We have our work cut out for us. This team's a really quality opponent and well-coached and talented, so will be a tremendous challenge. With that, we'll open up to questions.
Hey, John, it's Jamal in Montgomery. Obviously, it was really important to have that bye, last week, but Texas State also got that bye. So, how do you, see this game coming in with both teams coming off of rest, and what are you expecting?
Yeah, for us, we really spent the first part of last week evaluating what we were doing well, what we weren't doing so well, and how could we close the gap in certain areas. I make everybody on our entire operation in our building fill out a sheet that's addresses what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and how do we improve. And we spent a lot of time the first couple of days last week just self-scouting, evaluating ourselves. And then really didn't get into the opponent fully until yesterday. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I watched a little bit of Texas State last week, but really was more worried about our team. How it affected them, I don't really know. I'm sure they did some of the same stuff. But I'm really concerned about our team being our best right now. And how quickly can we come out of the bye week? I think sometimes we didn't play very well out of the bye last year. In the first game, we didn't start very good. We played Louisiana Lafayette. I think we tried to create too many things as a coaching staff at times and didn't do a very good job just letting our guys play fast. And we played really poorly to start the first game after the bye. Now we won the game, but I didn't think we played it well. So we'll do some things a little differently to see can we help our guys start faster. But really just heal up, evaluate who we are and where we need to grow. And then the other fun part of a bye is, man, we got a bunch of our young guys who aren't playing game action right now. They got a ton of reps last week. Like at the end of practice in particular, they got a ton of reps. So trying to develop some of our young players who aren't playing in the games right now so that they can be quality players a year from now.
Hey, John, this is John and Dothan. When you were talking about Texas State's strengths, it sounded a lot like y'all, really. Do y'all compare as far as what y'all do very similarly to what they do?
Yeah, they're maybe a little more up tempo in regards to they don't use the play clock as much. They go a little faster on offense. They're maybe a little bit more. I'm giving you some of the differences. They're more of a traditional 4-down front team. We're more of a 3-man front with bringing a different fourth rusher. Um, but I think personnel-wise, they're similar. Like I think when you look at them, their running back's really good. We got a pretty good running back too. Their quarterback, I think, has a big arm and he makes good throws. I don't know if Gunner's arm's as big as his, but Gunner knows where to go with the football. I think they have a really good deep receiver room and D-line room. I think we do too. So I think personnel-wise, I see a lot of similarities. That's probably the biggest similarities. Maybe how they play the game schematically is a little different. I do think also they look like us in regards to I think they play the game incredibly hard. I think they play with a great edge, and I really have a lot of respect for how they play the game.
Hey, Coach, Zach. Tell us about how you guys coming out of the bye.
I think we're in okay shape. You know, we yesterday was a wellness check day for us where we didn't practice, but the guys did training room check stuff, and then they saw the doctors this morning. So, you know, I think Ethan Connor may have a chance this week, which would be huge because he adds a different dimension to the tight end room, being able to catch the football. Stephen Catledge is moving around good. I don't know if he's game ready yet, but he's on the other side of his injury. He's on the uptick. I mean, he's close. So I think those are two guys that could maybe come back. I don't think there's anybody that should be out that's new that missed. Anybody who's available for Army, I think, is going to be available for this game as of right now.
Coach, it's Nick Brooks down in Dothan. You guys have obviously a tough game this week against Texas State, but a short week next week against South. You guys are all tied for the top spot in the Sun Belt West. How important is, I guess, these next 2 weeks to really stay focused and get the job done week by week?
Yeah, it's extremely important every week in college football that you focus on being where your feet are and just doing your job to the best of your ability. I haven't put one lick of thought into who we play after Texas State. The only part of that I have put some thought into, our game against Texas State was originally scheduled for 2 p.m. It's been moved to 6 p.m. So the only real thought I've put towards the next game is what we do on Sunday with it being a short week schedule-wise, making sure player safety, because we're not going to get back to like 3 or 4 a.m. on Sunday and then play on a short week, which I don't love that from a scheduling standpoint. I don't have any control over it, so it doesn't really matter. But I think the only thought I've really put into the next opponent after Texas State's not anything other than what do we do Sunday, because we have to use it as a practice day to get ready for a Thursday game when we get back at 3 or 4 a.m. on Sunday or Sunday morning. So that's the part I've thought about. Other than that, man, Texas State has my undivided attention, and nobody else really matters to me right now.
Hey, John, it's Jamal again. What are some of the challenges of going up against a head coach like GJ, who's so offensive minded? Obviously, played the quarterback position. What are some of the challenges of kind of getting ready for a team like that he coaches?
Yeah, it's somewhat similar to playing like Western Kentucky, where Tyson's an offensive minded guy and wants to run 200 plays a game and see how many plays they can run. These guys challenge you. They want to make you defend every blade of grass. They really spread the field out. They'll give you some wide double stacks or some over splits. They do some things kind of like maybe Baylor used to do that kind of stress you out a little bit from a structure of your defense standpoint. A lot of respect for GJ. I think he's done a really nice job. Flipping the roster. I think they do a good job schematically. I think he does a great job connecting with his players. I got a lot of respect for him. I think very highly of him and what he's been able to do there, and really what he did at Incarnate Word I thought was really nice as well. So lot of respect for him and what they're doing.
Coach Nick again. You mentioned just working on some of the stuff, what you guys have been doing well, what you guys haven't been doing well during that bye week. Can you kind of pinpoint some specifics of each?
Yeah, I can give you a bunch of specifics. Red zone touchdowns on offense. We've been awful. All right, like where we're better in the red zone than we were last year. Last year we were turning the ball over too much in the red zone when we went into the bye. we're in the top 10 in the country in scoring on our red zone possessions, but we're scoring too many daggum field goals. All right, so field goals, we need to score touchdowns in the red zone. That's a big area of emphasis. Third down, offensively, we kind of been middle of the road. The times we haven't been as good on third down, really, to be honest with you, it's been my fault because I've told the offensive staff, hey, we've got a lead. I don't care on 3rd and 7 if we run it again and punt it. When you're up 3 or 4 scores, that's usually a good play versus doing something dumb and trying to throw the ball and get a pick. But scoring offense, we're up almost 90 yards a game, total offense a game than we were a year ago. So, like, our offense productivity and moving the ball is much improved. But we got to finish drives better. So you look statistically from 21 to 22, we improved total offense and scoring offense. This year we've improved total offense exponentially, like almost 90 yards a game. We're only scoring like a point more a game right now. So that should look a little different with how many yards we're gaining. We're running the ball very effectively. I think we're playing the game on offense. We're playing the game very balanced. Run game and pass game have complemented each other well offensively. I think there's a couple of things we could do personnel grouping to highlight some other guys. I think if you get Ethan Connor back, that helps you play the game differently offensively. I think Peyton Higgins needs to grow his role offensively. Landon Parker needs to grow his role offensively. I think we could maybe do some things in 10 personnel or 20 personnel or different groupings we haven't played the game in. And then defensively, man, honestly, I think we've played pretty average. I mean, statistically, some people might think we're playing good. We've got to tackle the ball carrier better. I think we haven't done our best tackling job this year. I think we've really bid on some double moves that have been very disappointing. I think we've, kept people from scoring, which is great. But, the scoreboard doesn't always tell you if you played good or not. And we still hadn't played our best defensively. I think we're kicking the ball well in the kicking game. I think we could play better in punt. The punt phase, I think, could improve still. But really the biggest is just offense scoring, finishing with scoring on drives because we're driving the ball great.
Jay McDonald seems like he's kind of really returned to form the last few weeks. How big has he been in getting back to this form this year with the loss we had inside linebacker last week?
Yeah, Jaden is he's a very emotional player, emotional leader, plays with great passion. Awesome to see him have the game he had against Army. He was really, Rich was the defensive player of the game for the conference that week, but Jaden split that award because honestly, the way he played was as a high level. We've had a linebacker player since I've been back as a head coach. He played that game. He was phenomenal. He had one play I didn't like in that game. I didn't think he finished very well on a tackle. But other than that, I thought he played a really good football game, and we need him to continue to grow. Him, Jordan Stringer, Terry Thomas have kind of been the three guys manning the inside linebacker positions. I think your T.J. Thompson is really growing. Hadn't played a lot of snaps on defense, but in special teams in there, I think Luke Hodge is growing in there as well.